2019 BMW IBSF Bobsleigh and Skeleton World Championships combine on the Whistler Sliding Centre in Vancouver as we go into our team competition, featuring a male and a female skeleton slider and a male and a female two-seat bobsled competitor. I'm Martin Haven, alongside me John Morgan. And John, this is always a wild scramble of a race.
Yeah, it usually has a lot of fun for the athletes. The men's skeleton, they go first, all the competitors in the field, 10 teams. Then a women's bobsled, then the women's skeleton, then the two-man bobsled team with the lowest cumulative time walks away with a world championship medal. We've seen some interesting races, Martin, that come down to the final sleds.
Yeah.
Usually it's the skeleton that makes the difference in the middle.
Yeah, you find the biggest gaps quite often in a skeleton field. Let's take a look through our fields with the Russian team. Nikita Tregibov will head them off for men's skeleton. It'll be Austin Florian, the first skeleton slider for Team USA 1. There are two US teams. There were two Russian teams, but one has had to withdraw. An international team with British skeleton sliders and Austrian bobsledders. That'll be a unique combination. Cool. And for Canada, home team number 1.
Look at Polinato in the lineup after what he's been through.
Greg West heads up USA Team 2 with Brittany Reinbold.
Jeff Gadbois competing from what he went through.
Like Polinato, he crashed. Axel Jung has been on the winning team the last 3 team world championships straight. He's got an Olympic and world champion following him down the ice. Their key rivals perhaps might come from their own nation.
Lochner's a little hungry for some action down there too.
And then we've got Ireland Brendan Doyle, Corey Hall and Catherine Medeiros of Canada, Maddie Charney of Canada, and the Italian two-man bobsleigh. Then Team Canada 2, made up of well-established and rising talents. So those are our 9 competing teams. Now they go one discipline at a time. So all the male skeleton, then the women's bobsleigh, like Nadezhda Sergeva here, then all the women's skeleton, then the two-man get to go and do it last. Air temperature, well, it's warming up nicely, John. It's still bright and sunny, just about 1 degree below freezing. And the ice, though, is as cold as it's been all week. It was track record fast for the women's bobsleigh. How much did the Olympic champion take off the record?
65 hundredths. The same in the men's bobsled. They got it down 50 hundredths. They're, you know, the women have almost got it below 52 seconds. Just an amazing. This is a super speedway up here, and boy, did it prove out in the last 2 events we just saw for the World Championship in two-man and women's.
Ika Valter there, bronze medalist in the men's race. There's Mimi Reniva. She's the start record holder here. And they will go in this order. This was a random draw. Russia got out first and second. The international team from the IBSF goes third. USA 1, the international team number 1, goes 5th. And then we see our first home second home team with Canada 1 going out in 6th position. Then the US team, 2 German teams going 8th and 9th. The weather is great. The track is legendarily fast. We are ready for our team competition. First man on the ice is 24-year-old Russian Nikita Tregibov. Let's see what he can produce. In teams competitions, Russia took silver medal in Innsbruck 2 world championships ago.
Well, for skeleton we've seen, Martin, we've seen a lot of everything else come down the track, two-man and women's, and I don't know if the skeletons are going to have as many issues with the track like we saw the bobsledders.
They've had 1 run in training to get ready for the team race, so for them this is a venture into the unknown, because it is definitely much quicker today. You'll see a very different line for the skeleton sliders in a lot of these corners, because they're more maneuverable than the bobsleds. Oh! But when you hit, boy, you hit. It's not just the sled.
And you're hitting at ridiculous speed, 80 miles an hour.
He'll be doing just shy of 90 through the final corner, 87.9. Wow. So, first man down in 52.92. The track record, 52.20, was set by Olympic champion John Montgomery in the Games in 2010. And the start record was set in the Games in 2010 by Alexander Tretyakov as well.
Well, this is up top, the same in bobsled and skeleton. You can't hit up there. That's where you allow that 7-story drop. Look at the way he almost scorpions off the sled there.
Well, Nikita Chegabov gives us a very good look at what it's like, but takes the wind out of your sails, this track, whether you're pushing a bobsled or a skeleton sled. Next up, Austin Florian, this young American slider, kicking off the Team USA 1 crew. World Cup rookie this season, but he's been impressive with his speed at the start and on the ice.
He's had a learning curve. His first World Championship ever.
Yeah.
That sport, it's about start times. 59 Chegabov had. There's Caleb Smith yelling him off. So this should be 65, maybe better.
These
53, way better. 53. Whoa, that's way better than Chegabov, who was a good starter.
These team competitions happen nowhere else other than in the World
Look at all the
Championships.
coaches taking video.
All the skeleton coaches.
You won't see that. Look at it all the way up down the track. Everybody with their iPads. Look at them.
Oh, yeah. All right, so he's still in the green. 1100s up on Nikita Chegabov.
Now already in the red, but that's the experience that he doesn't have. There's Clarkson University student. Sunnyton, Connecticut.
Now the gaps between the bobsleds are likely to be relatively close. As you said, the skeleton elements, men and women's, often make the biggest difference.
Nicole Volt was down by 3,500 in the 14th today. Posted the third best time, best heat of her career. And there's the Americans having fun.
Suns out, guns out there for Jimmy Reed.
Yeah, and but you know, the disparity in time, we saw a second made up here from one of the heats in women's bobsled. But hey, that's pretty good. 3,500s off an established Chegabov. I mean, that's one of the top guys on the planet.
And you've got to love this start as well. 4:53. The track record, the start record all time, 4:48. 500ths away, John.
Well,
he's going to be fun to watch in 4 heats of World Championship racing, isn't
Look at that hit there.
Yeah, that's less fun, because that'll be coming at you all 4 heats. So, finger guns from Austin Florian of the USA. Next up, Marcus Wyatt of Great Britain in our first international team. Final weekend coming up as a coach for Eric Benotis, former world medalist in USA skeleton history.
Eric's had a lot of success in the sport.
Marcus Wyatt, another quick starter.
Good starter for the British. 3 athletes in the field, they're lightning at the start. They haven't figured out how to get down the track yet, but when you have start times like they do, it's impressive.
Well, they all came in after the 2014 games, the youngsters. Big skid for Marcus Wyatt there, another big skid for Marcus Wyatt. He's trying to hold his form here. 800s up over Nikita Chegabov at the start. Chegabov really hasn't got the speed at the start that we've been used to seeing him. Little toe steer into corner 9 and through corner 10. Little skid there as well in 11, 12, into 50-50, which is about 95.05 for a skeleton slider.
Third, boy, 6/10 back.
Yeah.
And you got to watch out, that uphill section can eliminate the time. Boy, 8,200.
Leaves the team with a lot to do. There's Eric Benotis.
This is like an official training run.
Yeah. I didn't realize that EB's last ever World Cup race was in Calgary till we got into our hotel room and the Brits all sitting there with what remained of a cake. I said, oh, whose birthday is it? No, it's Eric's last race. Look at the big skid here, though. Long,
body
rangy
lean
frame.
This looks a little bit better going into that curve 9 than the bobsleds were. This is the 50-50, which
again, look how sideways the runners are.
Havoc for the bobsledders. There's some spectacular pictures down there earlier today.
Now, next up, Dave Kresh-Cheshin, new dad, and his wife and daughter are here in Whistler. He kicks off the action for Canada 1. Christine de Brown, doing the bobsled leg, has just taken a silver medal in the Women's World Championships. Justin Cripps took bronze. Justin Cripps took silver in the 2-man yesterday. See what the careers can do. 4:69 getaway.
Ned Grizz's parents last night in the village. They're here for the 8 days. And the mother reminded me that she's here to do the babysitting.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what happens with grandmothers. Sliding athletes, of course. Grizz is fourth at the moment, only 11 back, but as anybody knows this track, it's this 6'3" tall Canadian from 3,700s back now. Wow.
Drifting away. He's going to end up in the same sort of territory as Great Britain's Marcus Wyatt.
Yeah, he should be able to catch Florian. Here he comes, 2,000s back. He's flying now.
Close in.
There's his experience on the bottom part of the track. Tregeboff beat him by 1000s at the top, but only beat him by 1000s at the bottom.
Yeah.
That's a good sign for the Grizz.
That is a good opening leg for Canada 1. There hasn't been a race yet. The Canadians have failed to take a medal in. Silver in the two-man for Cripps, bronze in the women's race for De Bruyn.
Look at the pictures, though, legs apart. I mean, he's only going 70.
Just saw Jeff Payne of Canada videoing there so he can relay information to the Chinese athletes he's coaching.
Yeah. So this is like everybody's got the iPads out or taking pictures, because this is speed training, and you know, this is like really the first day of training for scouting.
There's the Grizz. It's a good-looking run. So next up for Team USA, Greg West. Brittany Reinbold just had a great women's final couple of runs in the battle for the medals, ended up in 5th position, her strongest World Championship result. And she will be next up for Team USA 2. Now, he'll lose out to teammate Austin Florian at the start. How much will experience help him out? 4.80.
Yeah, so he's back now. But, you know, perfect lines here. We saw what Grizz just did. He just took a 3,500 deficiency at the halfway part of the track. He's only 1000s behind in the bottom.
You saw the Italian skeleton team there watching the action, and all the way down you'll see jackets of various nations. Skeletors coming out not just to watch the race, but to see what is going on this ice.
Usually, Martin, the disparity in times comes in the skeleton.
Yeah.
But on this track, it could definitely be the bobsleigh.
Could be everything. The Olympic and now world champion Mariama Yamanka nearly crashed in 50-50 on her final run.
He came back in the bottom.
Yeah, 4th place. He's ahead of Marcus Wyatt of Great Britain.
1900s behind his teammate, Austin Florian.
Just saw his teammate Kyle Brown there, along with coach in the leader's box, in the coach's box. And one of our medical crew. Now, they've not had much to do in the skeleton racing, but they had plenty of work in the bobsled.
Look how glassy the ice is.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, the temperatures here all week, and now this is in the 50-50. A lot more tame for the skeleton athletes, but of course, they're 80+ miles an hour with their chin 8 inches off the ice.
That was fun. That's the word, fun.
Well, hellacious. Russia leads Canada and the USA. We've got 4 of our 9 teams down. Next up is who's on the line here. This is the man we need to watch, because Germany's Axel Jung has been on the World Championship gold medal winning team squad the last 3 straight outings. 4.50.
Fastest start. He's 5th in World Cup points. He's got a 2nd place in Winterberg and a 3rd place in Eagles. And Martin could put a word consistency attached to him. He does everything pretty much by the book.
Well, he is the only common factor in Germany's team wins in Winterberg, Innsbruck and Koenigsegg, the last 3 World Championships. 800s back.
Here he comes.
This gives the team a huge chance, because they've got the world champion in women's bobsleigh doing the 2nd leg for them.
Well, the guy that narrowly beat him out of the 4th place in the World Cup standings is Tregeboff, who's at the bottom in the lead, but he's losing time back. Bang, no bang.
Whoa, drifts away from the line, only 2 tenths back. That gives the team a great shot.
He's 1100s behind the Canadians.
Yeah, Cheshire of Canada, second to Tregibov.
Yeah, but the team they got coming up behind him, Yamanka, Herman,
Nico
Walter. That's almost like stealing, those people involved.
Nico Walter was bronze in the two-man race a couple of nights ago. Last night. Well, you're not the neatest ride.
Well, look at those.
A lot of height.
To 11.
Yeah, a lot of height.
It was better than expected.
Says the three-time champion. Oh, he's had a haircut as well. Look at that. Proper full racer's haircut. Next up is his teammate Christopher Grothair, the second of our German squads. And they're not lacking in skeleton talent. Christopher Grothair, Sophia Griebel will do the women's leg. Anna Kohler will drive the women's bob. And Johannes Lochner, the men's.
His best finish of the season. He didn't compete in the first two events, but when he got to Altenburg, he had a fourth. And if there's any track that's got a personality like Altenburg, it would be this super speedway here in Whistler.
Ties the start with Nikita Chegabov, who's our current leader for the Russia 1 team.
But that hard hit out of 1, though, already put him in the red numbers.
Yeah, he'll go
another
from
hard hit
300s
there
to a 10th back, maybe 1200s at the next clock. There's Jeff Payne and everybody else. So they're clearly looking at 6 to 7 as being crucial corners.
He dropped 3/10 quickly. Now he can keep it within 3/10, given, you know, it's 4 different disciplines coming down the track. You can't win the event here, but you can certainly lose it with a bad run.
Yeah. Well, like any team, you're only as strong as your weakest element.
Bang.
And anybody who has a really horrible run puts the team in trouble. 53-37 between the two American outfits.
1000s back a fourth, 2400s back a third, and he's got, you know, Kohler, Griebel, Lochner coming up at the end. They still got a chance.
Well, history suggests the odds are good that 2 German teams will finish on the podium. Canada, Russia, the USA are the other big threats. Mind you, the last time out, we were in Koenigsegg, an international team got 3rd place. It was a first ever.
This is the 4-5 corner, and he really hit hard there. That's where he lost that time, Martin. He went from single digits to 3/10 down.
And it's all these skids that you don't see so much on the bobsled. The long legs out the back really allow the skeleton sled to drift out sideways. So next up is Brendan Doyle of Ireland. The international teams might be a made-up operation. But as I said, last time out, Alexander Gassner, Maria Constantine, Anna Fenstrup, Richard Olsner in a German and Eastern European lineup, played bronze, 476. Not a bad start.
Brendan's been living on the Europa Cup tour because he doesn't have any appearances on the World Cup season this year.
And there are 2 tiers below World Cup, Europa Cup and North America's Cup at the base level, and then there's an Intercontinental Cup which travels from Europe to the North American tracks as well. And then you step up to the World Cup. 7th fastest run at the moment, ahead of Marcus Wyatt of Great Britain. And the Irish team is a tiny team compared to the British team.
Isn't there equal funding? Isn't there Great Britain handed some equal funding now?
Losing a little bit of ground. Oh, and a big hit on the wall for Brendan Doyle. 7th. He is ahead of Marcus Wyatt at the line.
1400s. Not bad for the first time we've seen this Irishman this season.
For a team of 1, yeah. The last time we saw him was the last World Championships.
Well, the Olympics.
And the Olympic Games, indeed, yeah. So Brendan Doyle.
Well, this is at top of the track where the speeds are slow. That's the other exit for the luge, or the entrance for the luge competitors. And down here in 10, 11, not bad.
Great start to the competition for Brendan Doyle.
Both, or just one?
First the sled and then you.
And next up, here's another athlete that we have not seen at World Cup level yet. This is Canada's Mark Lynch. So first race for him with all the paraphernalia, lights, TV cameras, crowd cheering at the top, because you don't get that at the junior levels of the sport.
best start is a 450, so anything in the 450 to 60s is excellent. 480, that's the 8th best start of 9 sleds. The start sort of tells you so much, Mark. 1 in 20 athletes have bad starts and can get fast at the bottom. But not a good start time. You just have to have everything so perfectly set up for you on the way down. It's tough.
Well, his advantage here is knowledge of the track. And actually, he is making a pretty decent stab at this.
7th.
Up to 7th place, so ahead of the 2 international teams, closing in on Team USA.
Good form. 5200s back.
6th position. This is a good run for the Canadian. Hits the wall hard. 7th at the line.
Oh, it's close though. 300s behind the American team.
All right, so he was ahead of Greg West until that huge lick on the wall, which not only knocked the wind out of his sails, but also the speed out of his sled. That was a great start, though, for Mark Lynch and Canada too. Now, in fact, ironically, the only bit that wasn't a great start was the start.
So that's the final sled of this first discipline.
Tap dancing his way down into corner 1.
Then he found speed on the bottom.
Yep.
But with the 7th best start, he drove himself into the 7th best finish. And this didn't help.
Yeah.
This, he could have gotten it to 6th.
That would have been top 6, maybe even top 5 without that huge hit off Thunderbird.
That was worth 1200, so it could have tied up the Germans there.
All right. Good job from Mark Lynch of Canada. Now that is our first run of disciplines done. Men's skeleton sees Russia lead Canada and Germany. There's your top 3. Look how close it is. There's only a 1/10 of a second between the next 3 teams. USA 1, Germany 2 and USA 2. Less than a 1/10 between Germany 2 and USA 2. And then the Canadians 300s further back. The international teams not out of reach yet either.
I sort of like the second phase of this, which is going to be bobsledding, women's bob. I sort of like the advantage that the Germans might have here.
Yeah, I think this could completely change the order.
A little reversal of fortune.
Because we've got a couple of sliders in the women's bob who crashed in their race. We've got a couple of sliders in the men's bob who crashed in their races. So there's all sorts of sways and balances going on here. We've got our Olympic champion, our world champion in one of them. And then, of course, we've got medalists from the 2-man and the women's bob. And John, this track, it really is very tricky indeed to get down, never mind to get down fast.
Well, we just saw about let's see, 4 in my math, 9, we just saw about 191 sleds come down over 2 days, Martin, and we've had a few mishaps. But there's always a lot of steering mishaps here out of curve 1. Bang, you can't do that. Curve 2, quiet. You have to exit here very quietly. Curve 3, oh, you're thinking ahead of curve. Oh, don't forget curve 4 and 5. There's about 6 athletes have tipped over there this week. Okay, you're through the chicanes, 7, 8, 9. Well, we've got a few athletes that exit upside down on that curve. Then you come down into this super speedway, this fastest track on the planet, and look at these pictures. Shiver. Then the 50-50 curve coming up right here. That does give you some shivers. And now into the Gold Rush. The Gold Rush is 92 miles an hour. Into Thunderbird. Through and down, and don't relax yet. You have to go uphill, hit the finish line, which is right there. Martin, some of the most exciting sliding we've ever seen happened in the previous 2 days in bobsledding.
Yes, it really has been absolutely thrilling. The 2-man race and the women's race. Unbelievable scenes here on the Olympic Sliding Centre. Now, we rearrange our field. They go in reverse order of how they finished the first leg. And there's Nico Walter's mum and dad, some friends and family coming over from Saxony as well. Hansi Lochner's mum and dad are here. Lots of friends and family have made it from all corners of the globe. So the international teams will be off first, because Marcus Wyatt was slowest and Brendan Doyle just ahead of him. Then Canada 2, USA 2, And our leading team, as of now, after the men's skeleton, will go live.
Let's take 9 cards. Let's shuffle them up, because we're going to see a big shuffling
up
of
in the air.
Right here, starting off with this, I would say the most impressive finish of the Women's World Championships is right here, Catherine Byrne.
Yeah.
Finishing 4th. On this track, she was sick all week long.
Yeah.
She only had 3 practice trips. She was 4th in Calgary last week. Martin, what a young career she's got ahead of her.
Changed out her break woman. Jennifer Onosanya did the Women's World Championship. And Val Kleiser is on the back here for the team's competition. Now, the team she's in at the moment is last. That is about to change, I reckon.
Well, she has the same type of lines that she had in the 4 heats.
European bronze medalist earlier this season. She's also the junior world champion, newly crowned in women's bob.
5:29 start, pretty much a little slower than what she did when she had 18 this morning. Now let's see her getting through this 4-5 combination, which is produced pictures. She doesn't steer there. That sled just flops off there every time, Mark.
Yep. Out of 6, down through the big Luders Loop, corner 7.
Look at that. That's one of the better lines we've seen.
Nicely into 9. This is where she made her money in the races today. Really high speed at the bottom.
Look at that. So smooth through the 50-50.
Lets the sled fly.
Now we get near the 90-mile-an-hour speed. There it is, 91 miles an hour.
Ducks out of sight to the line, 53.07. Now then, that could see the international team move up.
Off the track record by a second. Is it a 52.01?
52.01. Now, her final run today was a 52.83. So 53.07, 14 1500s back.
And she was 1000 slower at the start, 800 slower at the start. So all things being equal, she came down the track pretty much like she did in the race.
It's 4:30 in the afternoon here, so, you know, it's been warm for quite a long while. I fancy the track might be a fraction softer than in the women's race.
Runner tips, safe exit of the notorious, infamous 50-50 curve. And great week for her.
Yes, it was. Not at the beginning, but it ended well. Now then, Corey Hall, who made her World Championship debut earlier on. Catherine Medeiros pushing on the back.
She's been the forerunner all week long.
Yeah, she's
in a monobob.
Driving the monobobs down before every heat of every race.
Start.
5:33. And again, this duo could move up a little.
6 400s back. Now, Hall had a pretty good, couple good heats, couple bad heats.
Yes, she did.
But you know, she's her first world championship.
The last one was definitely the best. The third got away with it by the skin of her teeth, and they both knew it, didn't they? Didn't have Catherine Medeiros behind her. She had Melissa Lottholz behind her, veteran brakewoman for Kaylee Humphries, who's also here this weekend.
Watch out!
And that is the signature of 50-50. Now, they will get across the line.
She was really good to that point, Martin.
Yeah.
She barely tapped on the exit, on the entrance to 12. They got the hook.
Now, because she got all the way down,
they're both looking around. You can see
they're okay.
talking.
There's Catherine out. There's Corey Hall out. That gives her a little round of applause.
I think Catherine, they call her Cat.
Yeah.
I think she's got the perfect makeup to be a bobsled. And she's driving those monobobs.
Yeah. Look, that's driver to driver, isn't it?
Yeah.
I knew we were going. Yeah, I did too. Sorry. Yeah.
Surprised, because she was pretty set up coming out of 10 into 11. Look at this now. She doesn't tap the wall coming in here. Perfect line, really. Now she lets it get away. Maybe she got a little lazy there. Now, does she hit the wall on the right?
Well,
does she hit the
it
right?
doesn't look bad there. Does she get knocked away?
She knocked away just a little bit. Now she's flat coming
Late
in.
on.
She's coming into the exit of the curve, where she should be 20 feet back, and this is where the lights go out. Look at her tuck her head underneath the cowling. She's obviously done this before. It's tough. You can say, how do you practice for crashing? You crash. You crash. And this is 90 miles an hour.
This place gives you a bit of practice with the beanie on. Cat Medeiros, and there's Corey Hall, the blonde-haired driver.
Boy, there's a lot of Corey's family and friends were here earlier.
Yeah. I'm sure they still are. They knew she was going again. They've probably had a little bit of lunch.
Martin, she had 4 great heats.
Yeah.
There's
Bren Doyle. Well, a little bit of track hold. She didn't steer at all in 50-50. I think she thought she had it. And she was just a little late on, and it was climbing as the corner dropped away. So they're just signing to say that they are okay.
Here comes the rescue crew, who's got a lot of experience in bringing these sleds back. Look how steep it is. TV doesn't do it justice. That exemplifies the whole track. It's that steep from top to bottom.
And it's not flat where they've stopped either. It's a long uphill drag from the final corner to the finish line. Well, there are some pretty, there's some more British skeleton sliders. We'll see them in action next week. Men and women's skeleton and 4-man next week. And in the changing room, Alicia Rissling and her brakewoman. Again, a change of brakewoman for her for the team race, Bianca Reeby, who we haven't seen sliding in World Cup for a while. So Riss just chilling out there in the warmth. Fans down at the bottom, like us, waiting for the race to get back underway. Riss's family are here. Corey's family are here. I'm sure almost any Canadian athlete who's competing or in the squad has got friends and family here. Lots of support. So you can see lots of skeleton athletes at the top, all the way down the track, just checking out the action. You spend so little time actually sliding ice when you're in the sport, John, that actually watching other people do is as informative almost as what you get to do yourself.
Well, you can see the blades there, the runners. There also, you can't see the label on the runners, that those are checked by the IBSF to be according to rules and regs.
Yep.
Almost like tires on a race car.
Absolutely, exactly the same, and for the same reason. It's the only contact with the playing surface.
Okay, they just said, okay, we've got a minute to go, and they take off their little covers of their little push shoes.
There's a lot of holes there, I think, with her back to us, gathering all the stuff for the down bag. So we are getting ready to go now with Alicia Rissling and Bianca Reeby, her brakewoman.
Now, Martin, look at the block. Now look at the shoes. There's 1/16 of an inch spike on those shoes. There's about 300 of them. That's what gives the athletes the grip to run across the ice. Now look at the block. Now some athletes, like Riesling, probably is going to start from the block and try and have a cohesive hit up on the push bar at the same time as the brakeman. Some other drivers we see lock their feet onto the ice and just have their hands on the push bar. That's the old way to do it, but you know, different strokes for different folks.
Absolutely, it's about how your strength, weight and speed compare to that of your brakewoman. And actually a lot of it is just how you start off. There's Mark Lynch, who opened the batting for this Canadian team.
That's his team that's coming down.
Yeah.
So in the winner's box right now is
Wyatt,
Great Britain, and Briel, Catherine Briel of Austria, the international team.
They're our leaders, so they've already overhauled the other international team because of Corey Hall's crash.
I thought they cleared the track, but I guess they have not.
Just maybe checking for damage to the ice further on down. But we are looking like we are getting ready to go, get our race back underway.
We're still on a track hold here.
They'll get a 60-second sound, which will allow them...
There's our leader.
There they go, yeah. Val Kleiser in the middle, Katty Ball on the right, and Marcus Wyatt on the left.
World Championship result for her in Austria. On this track, with the limited amount of trips.
Elizabeth Meyer, extreme left of your shot in the red headphones. Will be sliding very shortly, but next up, Alicia Rissling with Bianca Reeby.
The basketball player from the University of Calgary, the Dinos. 30-degree start. Well, they've got 2100s in the lead, and Pretty experienced driver coming down. But Catherine Briel beat Riesling in the competition.
Yeah, Riz finished in 11th, worked her way back up the order today. It's the Austrian team watching the action.
1400's back.
Oh, drops into 9, full on sideways into 11.
Hit there, yes,
Double
hard.
tap.
We don't want her to hit there.
Gets it. Oh, doesn't get it under control in 12. I saw her steering, thought she got it. But Alicia Riesling has gone as well. This week she's been okay, but she crashed in paid training.
You know, she missed by inches.
There was almost nobody into the 2 heats of today's women's race that didn't come close to crashing, including our winner, who nearly crashed out of gold within a couple of 100 meters of the end of the race.
Well, we had 100 sleds down the first night before crashing. Then that number's gone up a little bit today.
Yeah, really has. Well, again, you know, you see it when you're watching, you know, figure skating, ice dancing, whatever. When it's all going well, it just looks beautiful, and then...
Alicia's had some issues with that curve, though, from last Sunday and before that. She had crashed 3 straight times before training started this week in that spot. Yeah. You know, and I think she was really going. She just was trying to get this mental block.
Yeah, she was going for it. She's out. Bianca Reeby, her brake woman, is out as well.
I'm sorry,
there
Bianca.
You go. Yeah. Well, listen, they all know it's part and parcel of the sport.
She hits hard here, but then climbs the curve. Now watch this. She hit the right side of our screen. Does she hit here on the right side of our screen?
See, here it looks like she's got it.
No, barely touches.
And then
she's in the flat part of the curve. Got to come up. There's no place
steer,
to go.
But
no
just not enough.
Place. So close. Look at her duck her head. You know, she was ducking her head. She was also trying to flip the sled back the other way.
Yeah. But you got to try and push yourself uphill. But the only thing you can push against is the sled, which pushes the sled down further. It's pretty tough. Pretty tough. And that's not a slow crash either, John, there.
90 miles an hour.
Yeah, north of 80 miles an hour.
That's not north of 80, that's 90.
Yeah.
Martin, right where you look where she was going, her speeds are gone. But she's going, that's the speed trap, right where she crashed. So that's 90 miles an hour. And then, if you're driving your car down the road, you don't want to have the hook come and get you. Same in bobsledding. You don't want the hook here at Whistler to come and get you. There's the leaders.
There's our leaders.
The last 2 sleds down. They both finished. Riesling was a little bit slower. Look at that. Then look at the difference. 2.5 seconds on the crash.
Yeah.
There's Alicia brushing off her brakeman. So now we've got another hole.
Again, we've got to say, even the world champion, the Olympic champion, Mariama Yamanka, nearly wrecked it in the final run. Talked to her brake woman afterwards, Annika Tracek, and I said, you knew you were going home, didn't you? She said, yeah, I knew we were gone. And even Yamanka herself said, no, I can't believe I'm crashing this away. Somehow, it came back. But even she would admit that was luck, not judgment. Well, there you see inside the sled, you can see right at the far end the foot braces. The driver has some foot braces and a tiny little back stop, if you like, a little 1/8 of a seat height to brace yourself against so that your hands are free for steering, because the normal movement, if you put your knuckles together of your fists, normally you'll only just overlap the knuckles. Here, you tend to steer a little harder. Well, in our team's competition, we got all 4 of our disciplines, men and women's skeleton, men and women's bobsleigh. And as we're in the second heat now, we're going in reverse order of how they finished in the first, and that will continue down to the very end of it. And the lowest elapsed time will be our winning team. Wow, tough break for Alicia Riesling to end her World Championships here on home ice, but she finished in 11th place in the women's race. She and Bianca Reeby are okay, but she might be happy just to take a couple of days, not getting up early, not having to worry about racing.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, Marcus caught halfway through a tweet to his girlfriend, family, friends, whatever. If there's one thing the TV crew like, it's catching people unawares. So track hold now for Team USA. Now Brittany Reinbold has got Jessica Davis waiting there in the little glass room at the top. That's normally just for the officials. And they are waiting in there to stay warm as they were already called out to the ice. Normally when the previous sled goes, you'll already be standing out there.
Mark, now this is the track hold section. This looks like the exit of 50. It's the 50-50.
Yeah, that's out of 50-50, isn't it? Yeah.
So
hence all the gouges on the exit there.
But where the mistake is made here is on the entrance to the curve. On the right side. Now see this little wall down to the bottom right, Martin, across from where you see track hold. Back down here, if you tap that wall right there, that's what causes all the problems where you enter here too late and you go up into twilight zone and it's just impossible to bring the sled back. The 2 or 3 inches. If you hit 2 or 3 inches up, you can get away with it. When you hit 2 or 3 inches down from that, it pushes you right to the middle of the curve. You know, that's why it's such a minute steering mistake that causes all this problem.
And that one corner perhaps exemplifies exactly what they're doing in every turn, driving to within an inch or two of perfection. Two hands.
Team USA,
Two
Greg
hands,
looks on.
hat.
And the irony is, looking at Greg West, the curve was named in March or in February of 2009 by the late Stephen Holcomb. They went out, half the teams had crashed in training the first day of training, 4-man. So they went and got a plastic bag, a big one. They rode 50-50. They went up and took a picture on their phone with it, and the rest is history. And of course, Stephen went on to win the Olympic gold medal in the night train sled in 2010, obviously getting through the 50-50 clean every time.
Brittany Reinbold and Jessica Davis for Team USA 2. Now, Brittany finished a really strong 5th place in the Women's World Championships.
30 hundredths out of a medal.
Yeah.
7th best time of the final run. She hasn't been able to get through the first curve. I talked to her about it afterwards. She says, I just can't get through there clean. Let's see what she does here.
That's the best she's done so far.
Yet.
All right.
Two.
Now that means not that you accelerate faster, but you don't throw speed off the sled.
Watch out there, though. Watch, it looks a little ragged, but hey,
everybody
lines.
Looks ragged on this track. Good exit from 6 into corner 7, Luder's loop.
She did really well on the bottom part of the track. Look at that line.
Beautiful.
Brittany. Well,
she needed a couple more trips in training here, and she'd have been in with a real shout at the medals.
See, she doesn't hit there. Look at that come through there. She's making that look easy. Wow, what a run for Brittany Reinbold.
This is going to really shake up the order. Come on, says Greg West, and Brittany Reinbold.
Wow, 52.67. That might be her best run of the competition earlier today.
Let's take a look. I've got the timesheets in front of me. I've lost them. Brittany Reinbold fastest was 52.61.
So she was 600s better. Well, what was her start there?
Wow, that's great, great grouping.
She had a 5:27 start. She was starting what?
25 and 24 today, so
a little bit
right in there. So Jessica Davis and Lauren Gibbs pretty much equal.
See, she makes the curve look tame, but she got on. She got the exit of 10 correct, exit of 11 correct, into 12. Little problem here in the finish, but nice day of sliding.
All right. Well, that pushes their team firmly to the top of the pile.
Yeah, Brittany's had a good day, that's for sure.
Well, next up is Anna Kohler of Germany, and she's got Lisa Gericke behind her after Leonie Fiebig braked her in the World Championships. A first time in the Worlds for Kohler and for Fiebig, and I think for Lisa Gericke.
So 5th in World Cup points, a 3rd place at the first event of the year, her first ever medal in Sigulda. And Martin, she's had the same problems in an exit occurred one.
Yeah.
And there's a pretty good tap and then a skid. Cleaned it up here. 200s. Now it's head-to-head. Remember the skeleton disparity?
Yep.
Watch out!
Whoa! That's 4-5. That caused problems earlier in the week. Quarter 6 did in the second heat of the women's, Bob.
1600s back.
And today,
and Reinbold was like, she was awesome in this heat. Tap here. Listen, don't see her tap on the right. Perfect. See, she let the sled run out. And then
hold it off. Still in the red, 3600s back. Brittany Reinbold had a storming run. She'll be half a second back at the line, nearly 53.16 run for Anna Köhler.
Brittany, nice work.
Now, she finished 7th in the women's race, Brittany 5th in the women's race, and that's a good indication of why. Brittany Reinbold with speed in hand that Anna Köhler, first time on this track, could not match.
Well, the lines, don't steer unless you have to.
That was a big steer in 4.
4, 5, and then a little late there.
Big steer there as well.
You know.
And look at this, watch the runners, hauls it off.
Well, that's a better line than most.
Yeah.
Because we've seen 2 of the 5 sleds not get through the curve.
Well, I tell you what, today in the women's race, 50-50 really lived up to its name, and it pretty much is so far. USA lead Germany and IBSF Team 1. Second of our US sleds was due to be driven by Alana Myers-Taylor, but after her crash, she's on the sick list, and it's Nicole Vogt with Sylvia Hoffman behind her.
Hey, Nicole Vogt, the best heat of her career, 3rd best time of the 4th run earlier today.
She had a bit of an average day 1, but today, John, she came loaded for bear.
Her 3rd heat was the opposite of her 4th heat. She hit everything in sight. More hits than Elvis, we like to say. That was pretty good there, tap. That's great.
In the lead over teammate Brittany Reinbold, but the gap's down to 500. But like Brittany, oh, that was nice and clean. Like Brittany, it's here that she starts to motor away.
Kansas State University athlete.
Out of 7, Ludus Loop, right down the tubes. Brittany was a little closer into 9, but the cleaner the gap grows.
Comes the shiver. Watch out here. She's gonna. Watch out. Don't get go. She's got it.
She's going to be at. Well, I was going to say she's going to be in 2nd place ahead of the German team, but not unless she finds some speed at the bottom. And USA 2 will stay in the leader's box.
4th best time down.
So they drop a couple of spots.
But they're still on the hunt.
This is going to be snakes and ladders on a monumental scale.
I haven't heard you say that all day.
There you go. Up and down like the Assyrian Empire, this leaderboard. So Nicole Vogt and Sylvia Hoffman. Nicole had Nicole Brungart behind her in the Women's World Championships.
Hey. She had a great 3rd run. I tell you, that's the best heat of her career. It's the best drive I've seen her have. So this wasn't as good, and this skid right there.
And then
just like
sags
a
down the turn here from 4 into 5.
Yeah, not bad there though, but getting the shiver, you know, look at her dive there. That made me nervous there. That changed the direction.
She kind of put in a big steer there. You saw the tail of the sled skid up the corner.
Okay.
So here we go. This is our Olympic champion, European champion, World Cup champion, and newly crowned world champion, Mariama Yamanka.
Yeah, she's got Francisco Bertels on the back, one of the veteran brakemen of the field. No one's got more experience than her.
And Bertels has been in 2 last winning teams, behind Yamanka last year and Schneider the year before.
About 3,500s is probably going to go out to 50 or 1,600s here. You can see how much time that the newly crowned world champion.
Whoa! Now she's scared the living daylights out of us in 50-50. She's not even got to corner 7. She's nearly crashed it twice.
Down to 2,100s. As soon as I said she's going to get it out, the 1,500s.
Bertels is clinging to the floor of the sled.
Watch out here, too.
For her life.
Watch out here. Watch out.
Oh, she's gone. And that is nearly what she did.
The world champion.
Oh, my goodness. Well, Alana Myers-Taylor, the reigning world champion, crashed out of silver medal position in Heat 3 today. And Yamanka, after threatening it.
I just wonder where her concentration skills were here.
Wow.
I'm wondering, Martin, because she was really loose up in curve 4-5.
Now, don't forget how long it's been since the women's race finished at 1 o'clock. That's now 4 hours.
But she was doing all the interviews and the trophy presentations and how, you know.
Wow. That was an accident from corner 3, just catching up with her. Well, Yamanka, she thought it was going over in the gold medal winning run.
Well,
one heat later, oh, look how high she was in 4. She nearly rolled into 5.
This is where I think her concentration wasn't at the level it was.
Sled is everywhere there.
Yeah.
Double tap, gets knocked away into 11, into 12.
And then here, it's just too late. She's on the... She probably knew.
Realizes way too late. They're inverted almost before she gets the steer in.
I wonder the last time she crashed, Martin.
Well, Franziska Bertels, 2 golds and a bronze in the last 3 Team World Championships. Now they're still in the race. You know, we've had 3 crashes out of 7 sleds. There's no guarantee that there'll be no more.
They're still in 6th. They're ahead of both Canadian teams.
Don't forget, when we get into the 2-man, the final leg, they haven't been on the ice for 24 hours. Today's a very different day to how it was yesterday. This is a very, very tricky sheet of ice.
Well, I'm a little sick, you know.
Well, there's Franziska Bertels getting her breath back. That was a hard, fast crash. And Bertels must have been fearing for that from corner 4. She's been in a lot of sleds, John. She knows the sensations.
Well, look at all the World Championship titles up here.
Yeah.
We can see her name in there a few times.
Yeah, she's had a lot of success in German bobsledding. And there are our lead. Do you know, we said before the start of the World Championships, 4 half-decent heats, you're in with a shout. Right now, if you just get it down using the runners, you're in with a shout. What a competition this is turning into. Talk about survival of the fittest. And another hold on the line for a Canadian team. These are our bronze medalists.
2016 World Championships team competition in the Eagles. Franziska Bertels won the gold medal, teamed up with Anja Schneiderheinz, who had won the World Championships earlier in the day.
Yeah. Schneider was feeling no pain there. Schneider's brakewoman on that time was Annika Jacek. Now then, there's been a little change around here because here is our bronze medal winning pair, Christine de Bruin, and behind her, hey Grizz, is Kristen Bujnowski. It was due to be Mackenzie Stewart, one of the alternates, but on our timing screen, it says it is Kristen Bujnowski, and I just heard some of the guys at the top saying, come on, Buj. So we had to double check that. So it is our bronze medal winning duo.
So now as I look at the Canadian medals in here,
yeah, they took bronze in Lake Placid 2012, bronze in St. Moritz 2013.
Silver in Altenburg in 2008. I'm trying to think of...
All right. There are your leaders from Team USA. USA 1 or USA 2? Come on, guys. You've got to count. And now, our World Championship bronze medalists, Christine de Bruin and Kristen Bujnowski. De Bruin's 30th birthday today. She's already given herself a World Championship medal birthday present. Can she help herself to another one?
Well, they've got 5,400s in the bank and a good run here. She can put herself into a position to double medal on her birthday. How many people do that?
Big start, John. That's almost as quick as anything they did in the women's race, 4 heats.
Again, the concentration level, that looked good there.
Well, they've had a little...
She just had a lot of interviews.
But they've had a little time in that glass box to really focus after the crash hold. Here we go, 4,600s up. This is looking really nice from Christine de Bruin.
Well, this is the section of the track that we all hold our breath on.
3,700s up. She's got this under control right now.
27 coming back though.
Look at
That's the
Chris.
run that.
There's the leader's board.
19.
1900's up. 52.92. Well, her final run down the track was a 52.65. Her fastest of all
Brittany
was a
Reinbold.
52.57.
Brittany Reinbold still put the U.S. team in some good positions.
All right. Well, that is her final drive down the track this week.
Christine, you don't have to go anymore.
Yeah. She can now think about a bit of birthday cake and maybe a beer to celebrate
Martin,
the
there's a
World
crowd.
Championship tonight.
There's a crowd assembling down there in the 50-50 crew. I wonder
Really?
why.
The vultures are circling?
Hi, everybody.
Now, she calls herself Christine de Bruin. Our Dutch colleagues tell us it's Christine de Bruin.
We're in North America, though, so we're going to call it like us North Americans.
De Bruin, apparently. Najedsta Segova and Yulia Belomesnik, they finished in 6th place in the Women's World Championships. They were the only Russian sled to complete all 4 heats. Let's see what they can do.
Start time probably in the teens, early 20s.
Don't forget the leaders after the first heat, this team.
Can she get through 1? Yes. 2. Yes. She's already in the red.
Yeah.
That's relative to she got beat at the start. Pretty good, 6th place in the event. She was pretty excited about it. Had a pretty good season.
Whoa. Little skid from
John
6
here.
into 7 and late. Crash out of Luda's loop.
Could come back up right here. No. This is the 4th sled of the 8th that's crashed.
Oh.
This is a long ways down.
Now, for their own protection, they're desperately clinging inside the sled underneath the cow. Let the sled take the damage. Yulia Belomesnik half out at the back. She's clinging on. Well, that's all 3 Russian girls who have taken big crashes in the last 24 hours.
Martin, I don't think she crashed in training.
No, she didn't.
And she crashed up on Luder's loop, right?
Oh, there's Yulia, her brake woman. Yeah, she crashed out of Luder's loop. I think that's the first corner 7 crash we've seen this week.
We've seen him in 6, but she banged before she got into Luder's loop.
So Najedsta Segova, Yulia Belomesnik is out. There's Najedsta, so she is up as well.
She's going to be pretty angry with
Well,
herself.
she'll be absolutely gutted, but also they were banged up hard. That was...
Remember, this was the leading team after the first run. Here, watch her tap. Right there,
knocked
look at
away,
that right there.
skids in.
Skids in, comes way down, centrifugal force. Then watch how she comes back up on the outlet. Way up, too late.
She can't stop it there. The sled is, the gravity is taking the sled. Look at that, it's on the bunks.
Almost
And
made it in.
it's just on the bunks all the way into 9, and then the washing machine ride starts.
The upper runner pressure. Martin, upper runner pressure, Martin.
Boy, oh boy.
Almost could have saved him there.
Oh, that's a really ugly looking crash, I'm afraid.
But they're both up and walking.
They're both up and walking, and thank goodness they
Now-
don't have to slide again. Well, that was there. You can see Najedsta on the right, Yulia on the left. She's got a cut over her eye. Well, as with everybody who has suffered on this track, your heart goes out to them. And that rounds out our women's bobsleigh element. Canada now lead from the USA and Germany. USA 2 won in 4th place ahead of the international teams that were tail-end Charlies, remember, but their pilots
Still in the race. Still in the race.
Yeah, in fact, Corrie Hall did, didn't she, in the 2nd IBSF team, but Germany won, who were my favourites, because Axel Jung is the link there. Mariama Yamanka crashed. So, total change around. Russia won, led after the first heat. They are now in last spot. So a real change around in our leaderboard. And we now will wait for the track to be cleared, and just to make sure that our athletes are safe and the track is tidy and no other gouges, because the skeleton sleds weigh next to nothing compared to a bobsled, and a groove in the wrong place in the ice, the sled will be tramlining totally out of the athlete's control, and that is the very last thing you need at the kind of speeds they're doing here. So we've had men's skeleton, we've had women's bob, and we will now head into the women's skeleton element.
Well, Martin, the Whistler track, it's a little challenging for the women's bobsled competitors. We've seen an unbelievable day of sliding. Skeleton, little different. We're going to show you how the skeleton athletes come down the track, the groove. So they're running here, then they get on this little tray. Now look at that helmet on the left. Now that helmet, just think of that chin. You're about 6-8 inches off the ice. Watch how many times when that chin gets forced down, like right there.
Yeah.
What kind of neck do you think these people are going to have?
And this is only in corner 2.
Yeah, well, it's the Grinch's camera we know is on the sled here, but he knows better. Here, you know, look at the hits.
That's 4 to 5. Corner 6.
Now his head's out of the picture because he's trying to gather himself again. It's 70 miles an hour.
7, Luder's loop.
Listen to the sound.
And listen how quiet this track is. Not quite as St. but quieter than any other ice track. The track here is, the ice is like glass.
Well, now it's 85 miles an hour with your chin inches off the ice. They come into this pressure of the Thunderbird. They can't hit right here because you're going uphill. Wow, I mean, 87, 88 miles an hour with your chin 6 inches off the ice.
A beginner's track, this is not. Yeah, that's a great looking slider's view, because the camera view there is where your eye level would be if you were sliding, but 90% of the time your head's not up like that. So heading into the start list, we'll go in reverse order of our current standings. So the team that were first are now last. Russia won, and our best wishes go to all of our athletes who have crashed in: Agnieszka Segova, Julia Belemesnik, Lisa Ristling, Bianca Riebe, Mariama Umanka, Francisca Bertels, Corrie Hole, Kat Medeiros. So of our 9 teams, 4 of our women's sleds crashed. So 50-50 is getting on for living up to its reputation. What is a beautiful day here in beautiful BC, British Columbia, Canada. Just look at the snow all around Whistler, Blackcomb Mountain. The sun, clear blue skies. John Morgan, it's tough to spend 2 weeks here working hard, isn't it?
Well, we've worked very hard today, Martin. We've had a...
Oh, hang on. We can only call this work so they pay us.
Yeah.
Honestly, this is just, you know, for us, it's fun.
There's some tracks we go where we have a hard time finding replays.
Yeah.
On this track,
it's narrowing them down.
Curve
just
1, the start. We don't even show starts because it's so exciting. Usually we show the start in every single track we go to. Here, it's the start. It's out of curve 1. It's curve 4 to 5. It's 6 to 7. It's 11. It's 12. I mean, you can find any place on the track. There's demons or what do you want to, boogeymen?
Yeah, there are bear traps.
Bear traps.
16 corners, 16 bear traps. So here we go. We're getting ready to start our 3rd leg of the team's competition in this BMW IBSF World Championships for 2019, and it is women's skeleton. And leading us off, an Olympic bronze medalist, and for the first time ever, a Russian women's skeleton World Cup champion, Elena Nikitina. She was the standout in women's skeleton this season.
And what's the start record?
The start record, 4:77, set by Canada's Mimi Reneva.
In when?
2016. And the downtime record, 53:76, set by Canada's Liz Varche, Liz Meyer as she is now, again in October 2016.
Well,
big Canadian Championships or an ICC race.
Well, we'll see what type of start that this athlete who won the World Cup season title.
She's got 6 career wins, 4 of them this season.
But Martin, the last 2 events in Calgary, there was a double event makeup race from Koenigsegg, she finished off the podium 4th and 5th. So she's probably pretty anxious to get on the ice.
And she's only had 1 training trip as well. Don't forget, they haven't had a full training week because it's not a full race. So just 1 trip down the mountain for a
Watch this athlete.
Now there are 2 ways of doing this. You can either jog off or you can attack the mountain with every fibre.
She's well off
300s.
Well off the track.
Yeah, well off. Well, listen, by her standards, yes. I think it's highly likely the track start record will get blitzed next week by the girls.
Doesn't have the great gliding like a Jacqueline Lowling.
No, but boy,
she's the best.
She knows how to drive a sled, doesn't she?
Start. And again, she's won 3 times. She won the World Cup title this season.
Yep.
She won 3 times, Jen. Lake Classic, Altenburg, and the opener in Segovia.
Oh, big height in Thunderbird, hits the wall hard. That's like Brendan Doyle did.
54.81. What's the track record?
53.76. So we're a second
off the track record. So the track record will be safe.
Well, for another few days. When do we start? With Saturday with women's, Friday with women's skeleton.
They'll get some more trips.
Yeah. Well, on 1 training run, not far off, is she?
Up and down. Exit of 4 to 5, where we've seen some unbelievable pictures. Look at the finish. You know, your
big loops in Thunderbird there. Look at this. Oh,
86.
Just plunge.
She's only going 86 miles an hour.
Yeah. Positively pedestrian. Tell you what, they have sore shoulders by the end of this week. So Russia 1 is down and done. Next on the line is Elizabeth Meyer. So she is our track record holder in her maiden name of Elizabeth Varche. Married Benny Meyer last summer in Hawaii.
Her husband's looking forward to the 4-man competition.
Sure he is. They'll both be racing next weekend. 496.
Good start, as you would expect from Meyer, who has won on this track before in a World Cup. And all she has is a full second lead, which I don't expect her to give up much of that.
Well, don't forget that her bobsled driving compatriot, Alicia Rissling, crashed, so they're dropped way down the order from where they were. But Liz Meyer, see the reaction there from one of the fans of a huge slide. Liz Meyer is the track record holder. She does know the ice well. Where does this leave them? How far ahead of the Russians?
Wow.
54.50. What did I say the track record was?
Look at Alicia Rissling. Look at her. You know, I mean, you know, what a personality.
Yeah. Real trooper.
Trooper, that's the...
No question at all. No question.
No complaining.
No. So Liz Meyer. Oh, that's a big skid there. Saw the Italians watching there at corner 11.
And then into the 50-50 where you really have to let it go. And in Skeleton, there's 86. Let's look at her speed. Oh, she was only going... Tregeboff, of course, that's the Tregeboff speed. She was going 85.5.
All right, next up then for Germany, this is Tina Hermann. So Tina has had a bunch of medals. Silver medal team last time out. She was on the gold medal winning team in Eagles 2016 and Winterberg 2015.
And world champion in 2015, right?
Yep, and World Cup champion. So 495 getaway.
Martin, she won in Calgary last week. Might have been her first victory in 3 years.
Now again, don't forget, her teammate, the newly crowned world champion, Mariama Yamanka, crashed in her run in women's bob. So they are way behind the 8 ball.
But from what we've just seen, anything can happen.
Well, everything will probably happen.
Because the track track is really dictating the results of the race so far.
Now we need to not look at the overall gap between them and the Canadians, but what her run time is. Liz Meyer came down 54.50.
Yeah, so this will give us a good indication
of where she is. 54.50 compared to 53.68.
Whoa.
So she's very nearly a second quicker than Liz Meyer.
Wow. Whoa, if I'm the Germans going, that's great.
Hey, the more ice Tina Hermann has, the better she likes it.
This
and
is her style
there's a long track here, a long driver's track.
She was the top dog in the German program in 15, and then this Jacqueline Loland showed up and doesn't get the starts that Tina gets, but Jacqueline, who missed last week's races with some family problems back home, issues, so she had to go home for her grandmother's illness, and but she's rumored back, right?
Yeah, I think she's flying in tomorrow. So our second Canadian slider is our start record holder, her teammate, Liz Meyer. In fact, it's not, it's Maddie Charney. She's in the IBSF international team. Now, story here that we'll get to next week is that Maddie Charney has been given a World Championship berth ahead of her teammate Jen Chandler, who finished 9th in the World Cup rankings.
And 5th in one of the races in Calgary last week. 495 start, second best start. Well, of course, that's the Dragonov, but that's the best start of the female World Cup.
Yep. So again, we're looking at the fastest women's slide for Sophia Grieber, 53.16.
Her only start of the season was in Lake Placid.
And that's when Liz Meyer wasn't there.
She finished 16th.
So it's not Maddie's decision to put herself into the team. That's come because she outpaced Jen Channel in the Canadian Championships and in a selection race. But particularly tough for all of the athletes. This is a bit of a wild ride for Maddie Charney.
Oh, she came around there pretty.
Yeah.
That's a weird.
Okay,
55,
that is
40 seconds.
2.3 seconds
back.
Slower.
Hey, that means they fell back.
Yeah, they're now 1.56 seconds behind the Germans because Maddie was 2.6 seconds
to go.
behind Tina Hermann.
Made up quite a bit of time there, though. The German team did.
Yeah. 53.16 for Tina Hermann, 55.46, 2.3 seconds back.
Wow.
So Maddie Charney in the IBSF Team 2 with Brendan Doyle, Corey Holt, Kat Medeiros. Next up is Great Britain's Laura Dees, and she's in the other international team with teammate Marcus White, with Katy Beil, Val Kleiser, the Austrian women bobsledders, and yet to come Marcus Treichel and Sebastian Mitra in the 2. So Laura needs a really good run here to try and push this team back up towards the medals.
Olympic bronze medalist last year at the Olympic Games, and her only medal of the season so far on tour came on the last event in Calgary, a bronze medal. So she may be peaking at the right time.
Whoa, high in 4.
She's not the only athlete who'll be high and wide in 4.
Skidding through corner 6, it's Luda's loop, turn 7. Down into 9, that sharp left, the rock down into the hole.
Martin, this is the first team that has not had a bobsled crash in it.
Yeah.
So this question is, how much is she going to be ahead?
Well, Sophia Griebel, 53.16. Let's see what Laura Dees has got at the line. If she doesn't smite, oh, she does, really hits it hard.
Third best time.
54.68, so 1.52 behind Sophia Griebel. For those of you who are contemplating getting a small wager on the Women's World Championship.
So Griebel's the fastest down on this discipline, right?
By a big margin.
Big margin.
This is super high in corner 4.
Almost a little scorpion action.
Saw Janine Flock there. Now, I haven't seen her this week. She missed the last couple of World Cup races because she's had a major infection, but that was her trackside watching the action. Boy, oh boy.
Laura, how'd that feel?
Yeah. Sorry, I haven't got my breath back yet to tell you. Yeah. Well, that IBSF team now the leaders with 3 to go, so they could be in the medal hunt.
Yeah, one more. Well, there's still a discipline to come too.
Yeah. 3 teams remaining. Next up for the USA, Kendall Wessenberg from Modesto, California. That familiar California helmet. $4.99. Now then, the longer the ice canal, the better she likes it as well.
She medaled on her home track in Lake Placid, medaled in St. Moritz. The year before that, it was the drought that the women's skeleton program had in the United States. She's won the last 2 medals.
Yep. Well, the last 2 times the USA won were in Lake Placid 2012, St. Moritz 2013.
That was 17 in St. Moritz, 13. Oh, wow, look how high she is there, and watch, she gets away with it though.
Whoa, see her teammates watching the action. Here we go, what's she got at the line? 54.19, okay, so...
Second best time of the heat.
But
that's
they
great.
still
That's
lead
good.
with 3 more teams to go.
Martin, she was wildly down the track.
Yeah.
And she posted the second best time of the discipline.
Yeah.
So far.
I got you. Get up there.
How's it going?
Going well, Kendall. It's going well.
Okay, now this is taps before the big 50-50 curve. She gets up really high. I better get out of here. Then she taps again on the take-on. That forces her late. If she was in a bobsled, she wouldn't be on her runners there. Skeleton is a lot more forgiving.
Well, there's her teammates behind. And next up is Tina Hermann of Germany. Gold medalist in the team in Winterberg and in Eagles, 15 and 16. Silver medalist last Worlds in 2017. Beg your pardon, this is Sophia Griebel, of course. Tina Hermann's already gone.
Yeah, we said Griebel was Hermann had been down.
Yeah. So Sophia Griebel has never had a World Championship medal in the team's competition. Might this be about to change?
4th in World Cup points. Didn't get on the podium once this season. Martin, I think she medaled 15, 16.
Well, she's been in and out of the World Cup squad, hasn't she? 2400s back of advantage, rather, over Kendall Wessenberg, or a cumulative team advantage. Oh, falls out at 6. Handles the late pressure in 7. Nice line into 9. Here we go. Sophia Griebel,
1700s.
Keeping the team in the top 3 right now.
Yeah, now we're talking about
how close.
The 4th round for the medals.
How close are we going to be at the line? What do we have?
3,500. That's a good run.
She put it together at the bottom.
Second fastest of the run. She's only 100th or so ahead of Kendall Wessenberg, right? Kendall had a 54 what? 54.9, I think. But that puts the Germans in the lead.
Yep, 2 teams to go. USA
they got Mr. Lochner as their anchor.
Yeah.
So the start here.
Well, I think both German skeleton women, Tina Hermann and Sophia Griebel, have had a big input into their team's chances. Of course, the problem for Hermann is that Mariama Umanka crashed in her run, so that cost her time, even though they're still in the competition.
Liebe Grüße, hallo Mutti.
So to mum back home. 2 teams to go, so this is Savannah Graybill for Team USA 2, lying in 2nd place, halfway through the team's competition. Caleb Smith giving her a bit of encouragement, along with her teammates at the top.
This is really give him a chance. So she's got 3,000s to play with.
5:05 compared to 4:95 of Tina Hermann.
Gadbois will anchor the team with Chris Horn for the U.S.
And he's coming back after crashing out in the two-man race.
That's the award for the most spectacular crash.
Yeah.
Can't believe the sled's fine. She's doing pretty good. She's holding on.
She is. 3/10 up at the start. She's actually undoing her start deficit. She's starting to grow the lead.
29.
She's
this is pretty good.
3/10 up again.
Wessenberg surprising the field.
Yeah, Savannah Graybill and
oh, watch out here in the finish.
Both going well. Huge hit on the wall, but only one.
Nice job, Vanna Jane. Nice job.
Yeah,
wow.
54.15 slide.
Going to be up to Jeff Gapwa and Chris Horn for the medal for the U.S. there.
Wow, imagine that redemption, John, after crashing out of the two-man race. Imagine if he can haul that together.
There's still a lot of action left.
And more redemption might come from our final team in this encounter, because Nick Polagnato will be their anchor leg, and he too crashed out of the two-man race. Well, that was a good-looking slide.
So, Miss Graybill just showed that she might have a little opportunity here in the World Championships. Track might suit her style. This didn't help.
Yeah.
Sparks.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of sore shoulders off that final corner. Not great. Not great. Okay, final of our women's skeleton sliders is our start record holder, Mimi Reneva. 2 wins this season in St. Moritz and last time out in Calgary.
Well, I would think that
477 is the record. Where are we? 482, 500s off.
that 4200s is going to grow out to about 1600s here at the next clock with that start, if not more. 53.
Well, before last week in Calgary, John, Mimi had only ever won twice in her life on natural tracks, i.e. twice in St. Moritz. Calgary was the first artificial ice canal that she'd won an international race on.
Sort of stopped the bleeding, but
yeah,
you would think she's going to start to pull away. 3,600, 1,700.
Coming down to 17s. Wow. This shows how good Savannah Graybill's run was, because Canada's Mimi Reneva may struggle to hold on. Huge height in front of her. Look at Savannah at the bottom. She's behind at the line. The Americans move into the lead. Savannah Graybill. Wow. How the balance of power has changed from the first to the second to the third run.
Well,
the final 2 bobsled drivers in this race, John, both crashed out of the two-man. What a chance they've got for redemption.
Wow, this is a pretty interesting team competition. Of course, when you have the world champion crashing,
yeah,
you know, you thought the Germans were loaded for first and second. Right now, the Germans are in third, but they got that guy Lochner coming down for them.
But he didn't have a good two-man race. He barely got in the top 10.
And then for the Canadians, it's Nick Polagnato, and then Jeff Gapwa. But, you know, in 4th place, Hunter Church. He's still there in the medals.
Well, let's take a look at our leaderboard. USA 2 by 1100s. Canada in second. Germany 2, 3100s back. USA 1, who knows? They might get in. But behind them, look at the big gaps because of all those crashes
in the women's
and
platform.
We still have 2-man to go. And I can't overestimate, or can't overstate enough how different the ice is today to how it was in the 2 days of the 2-man competition. At lunchtime it was -5. Coldest it got in the men's competition was -4. And below -5, this track becomes a very different place, according to the Canadian coaches. So we'll take a look at the track from a bobsledder's point of view next up. And listen now to the way that the speed picks up. You'll hear the wind roar dramatically increase right from corner 2 onwards. So 16 corners. Short run over the brow, drivers in now. Holding on to the handles. Clicks in the driver's push bar, but listen to the wind rush. Through corner 2, you drop about 70 feet into corner 3, then corner 4, 5 and 6 taken neatly, and then corner 7, Luders loop. Exit here, short shoot through what is nominally corner 8 into corner 9 and 10, the double left-hander links. Corner 11, shiver. Then into 12 and 13, 50-50. Through corner 14, we're in the middle of the Gold Rush Trail, and then the big Thunderbird at the end. Enormous G-forces, 2 pressure corner, can't hit on the line as you come steeply up to the finish line. It's a good 100 meters beyond the exit of the final corner. We're hearing now that Nico Walter will not go in the final run. So with Mariama Yamanka crashing out, Nico Walter and Philip Verbeto, the team with
so 7 sleds in the final.
With Junk and Hermann in, they were in 4th place, but we're hearing now that Nico Walter will not go. So we will lose Team Germany 1. So Axel Junk's hope of a 4th consecutive team gold goes out the window. Here is our leaders box. They'll be good. Oh, now we're flossing. Saw Lauren Gibbs trying to teach the Russians how to floss earlier. I wish I'd had a camera running. Well, there is Marina Gilardoni of Switzerland. She'll be competing for her nation in the women's skeleton races later next week.
Switch over to the World Cup bobsled standings. Martin, a lot of statistics dealing with this event.
Yep. And Russia 1 again will go off first, ahead of Canada 1, the IBSF team 3, Germany 1, and so on down the order. Now then, this is Maxim Anjanov for Russia 1, finished 10th in the 2-man World Championship race with brakeman Ilya Malik. And after 24 hours rest from last night's final heat, Malik goes again. See Yulia Kanakina closest to the camera there with the long dark hair and the Russian beanie hat on. She'll be sliding in the women's encounter as well. Former junior world champion.
Best starters in the field.
Yeah. Raniva, Nikitina and Kanakina, they're going to be the ones to watch in the start. Maybe Liz Meyer as well. So let's get the final heat underway. 2-man bobsled to decide the medals.
Well, this is just a ride down the track. I don't know if they can move up. I mean, they're so far off the pace because of the crash. I mean, Sarah Gaba crashed up at curve 6, so she had a long run upside down. You know, crashing at 50-50, you only have about 8 seconds before you get to the finish line. She was about 27, 25 seconds, 30 seconds before she got down.
Little rocky 4 into 5. Bumps onto Luders loop. And drops into 9. Double left-hand there, corner 10.
It's almost a rabbit out in the 2-man bobsled box here.
Looking good so far, but this is the key corner out of 50-50.
Made it look easy.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see what his time is compared to what his time was in the race.
Good shout.
Time of 51:41.
So many bits of paper on the
pretty
desk.
quick, Mark.
Let's see what the 4th run looked like. 51:47, his final run
So
was
it's
his
right on.
fastest.
So what was this? You know,
So he
good
did
start.
a 46, a 47, a 48, and a random 68.
Pretty consistent guy right there. 51:41.
So it is right on the speed that it was in the men's competition.
Well, he's a great driver. I mean, he's got a breakout season with top 7 in World Cup points, couple 5ths right off the bat in the first 2 World Cups. Hasn't done well in Calgary or Lake Placid. 10th here at the World Championships.
Tracks he doesn't know so well. There's Elena Nikitina, his teammate.
Getting his jacket.
Yeah.
Chilly out.
It is. It's kind of -7 by now. Next up for Canada, another couple of sliders that we have not seen in World Cup racing before. So this is driver Taylor Austin and William O'Clair, the brakeman.
Let's see what they get for the start. 95. 5 flat, not bad. So they got a second 40 hundredths lead. That's because, again, Sarajevo crashed up in curve 7.
Yep.
And recently, the Canadian athlete crashed in 50-50. So there's about 400 meters difference.
So Taylor Austin at the moment, looking nice and relaxed here. Not a bad run down into corner 9.
Pretty clean.
Yeah, no skips so far.
Well, the 50-50 is working. And he's late there, but pretty good.
Nicely through.
Boy, nice crossover. Right.
Okay,
really
here
nice.
we go. This is going to be a quick run down at the bottom.
It's pretty good for this young Canadian.
They'll put the Russians behind them.
51-53. Hey, pretty good for a guy at his first ever World Championship competition.
You want to know what... where's Justin Cripps' 4th run? I've got to find that. Cripps' 3rd run was a 51-36. He was our silver medalist.
Hey,
that's a hell of a run.
Hey, Mom. Nice job. Way to break yourself in.
Now, I think Taylor Austin has been forerunning this week as well.
Yes, for sure. 50-50. No problem here. No stress in the sled. Eyes perfectly focused.
Cripps' 2 runs yesterday, 51-36, 51-34. He's just come down 51-53. 2 tenths behind the Olympic champion and the silver medalist in the world. Not bad for a forerunner. Okay, next up is Patrick Baumgartner of Italy, with his brakeman behind him, Mattia Variola. Mattia, the alternate in the team. Simone Bertazzo and Manny Mahata, the coaches. Bags of experience to draw on.
Well, remember yesterday I was saying we're seeing too much of that brakeman shoulders.
Yeah, well, this is his alternate.
Look at the difference.
Vanishes.
Look at the difference. I can't believe that they didn't switch that out after the first run. Because on a track where the speeds are so excessive, aerodynamics are crucial. And Patrick Baumgartner, he should have been lurking back in 25th, 28th place.
Well, now the other thing is that was a 498 start with Alex Virginer behind him. He did a 5 flat, a 503, and then a 505. So not only does this guy fit the sled better, it's a quicker start.
Well, let's be interested to see what the time is. Let's get him down to the bottom. This is perfect, no problems.
Not counting any chickens in this one, are we?
This is a much better run for the Italian. He's holding on, 1700s, 1400s, 51.97.
4 tenths better than he managed in the World Championship 2-man races.
4 tenths per heat, 1.6 seconds. He might have been up trying to make the cut.
Well, he very likely would have made the cut. They started faster, and that was a quicker trip down.
And you didn't see the brakeman shoulders.
Yep.
I'm going to get on Simone Bertazzo about that.
I don't think he can take much more.
No, him and I had a good conversation about it.
You might have to buy him more pitchers of beer to carry that one on. Look at this, nice exit out of 12. He trusts his line.
This looks like a different driver.
Yep. All right.
International team.
Yeah. Well, now that should have Cripps in, the international man of mystery. If he wasn't made for an international team, I don't know who was.
Nobody is.
Okay, so here's another of our international teams. This is British skeleton and Austrian bobsleigh combo. So the anchor leg is Marcus Treichel with youngster Sebastian Mitterer behind him. He has been with the team for the last couple of seasons.
So this is the first team that hasn't crashed, right?
See, I knew you were going to say that.
Well, now let's see. This is for a medal. This is challenging now for export sleds for medals.
Yep. 494, that's a good, decent getaway.
Tap. Marcus continues to improve. Didn't have the whole season under his belt. Best finish of the year was 8th in Altenburg, which is similar to this track.
Yep.
Not, Altenburg is nowhere near the speed of this track, but there's a lot of tight, quick turns.
Oh, and where do we go for next year's Worlds?
Oh, that Altenburg.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
No place above Dresden. Saxony.
Yeah, right down by the Czech border. 3.69 seconds is the lead.
I don't know what it is. There's no problem with the 50-50 curve at the moment.
Well, they've had a lot more runs. Marcus Treichel across the line in a 51.70. That's pretty good. That's right where he was in the race, yeah.
So the speeds on the track are the same.
Yeah. He had a couple of 70s, but his fastest run was a 51.57 in the first heat, 51.63 in the final heat.
Well, Marcus, you know, had a day off to think about things. Different brakeman, decent start. Look at the eyes at 90 miles an hour.
Yeah. Now we
no, Martin, let me take that back.
So it was 494, and they were starting 489s.
The IBSF.
Yeah.
International teams are top of the leaderboard.
But we still have 4 teams to go. Now, the first of our US sliders is Hunter Church with Blaine McConnell on the back of his sled. And Hunter finished after missing a day of training because Justin Olsen was supposed to be driving his sled in the two-man race, crashed hard, put himself on the bench. Hunter stepped in, 2 days of training, he's never driven the sled before, finished firmly in the top 20. Really solid performance.
Dakota Lynch in the back?
It's Blaine McConnell.
Blaine McConnell.
Yeah.
Whoa, keep it going, Hunter.
Yeah.
Keep it going, man.
Whoa, late off 6, gathers it all up, and the logo on the sled reminds us, John, that in 2 years' time the World Championships will be in your hometown of Lake Placid. Another great
For the
drive.
10th World Championship will be in Lake Placid. Whoa, 36 hard.
There it is. Hauling.
He's doing it. Hanging in there. Way to go, Hunter. 21 years old.
Look at his teammates there. Across the line, they lead.
51.94.
Have they got a chance of a medal?
What did Hunter do in his fourth run?
He did a 52.21. What was his fastest? A 51.85.
So he's almost matched his fastest time down.
Yep. Yep. Nice looking lines from Hunter Church.
Boy.
Like Jeff Gabwa, his teammate, they've really drunk the Kool-Aid. Very young, only just into their 20s.
And Blaine McConnell gets his first World Championship taste. The guy from Tacoma, Washington, not far from here.
Yeah.
Maybe he's got some family and friends up here.
Hey guys, love y'all.
Way to go, Hunter.
Yeah. All right. Hunter Church and his team lead with 3 more to go.
Okay, there's some sharks in the water here.
Okay, now here's Johannes Lochner. Mark Rademacher makes his World Championship start in the team competition. Rademacher is an absolute giant because Lochner at the front handles is not tiny.
No, look at the size of him, and he gets in, you can't see him back there. Start.
Lochner's fully 6'2".
Big start.
And Rademacher makes him look like a dwarf. 477.
He gets to the bottom here. I would say this German team's going to win at least some kind of medal. And Johannes didn't have a very good two-man competition.
Well, that start they've just done matches the best of 4 that they made with Christopher Weber in the two-man.
Watch out, I don't like
this line there. Looping high.
Oh, he's got it. No problem.
Oh, little
said
rocky.
no problem. He almost rolled it opposite in.
Little rocky.
Oh, that 50-50 was tight.
Little rocky in 50s. Do they take the leads? They do.
51.26. Wait a minute.
Wow.
How fast is that?
That's fast. His last run in the World Championship two-man was a 51.51.
So that's his fastest run of the 4 heats.
By a quarter second nearly. Where was that run in the last 2 days? Hansi?
And what's the track record? 51.05?
50.96.
Oh, so he's quarter second back. Hansi, you would have put 4 of those down, you would have had a medal. You might get a medal here out of this, but look at this one. Look at him steer there. Now watch the sled almost roll the other way. Look at this.
Yeah.
Nah, that was pretty good.
That was okay.
Overestimated.
Look more dramatic at real speed. Well, finally he's smiling.
Johannes, where you been?
Finally, he is smiling.
That was a medal. That was for a medal.
Germany lead the USA and IBSF international team Next up, our final two squads. This is Nick Polagnato.
This is for a medal for Canada, and it'd be very deserving. Polagnato crashed out on the two-man race. And
got Kiefer Joyce behind him.
490, 700s. It's going to get down to about. It's going to be red numbers here pretty quick.
Now Kiefer should be in the four-man crew. This is his World Championship debut, and they are 200s back.
Right here's where he crashed. Through that albatross.
Now he crashed in heat 2, didn't he?
Yeah.
Came back in heat 3, last
just to get a trip down the track. You fall off the horse, you got to get back on it.
Can't let the mountain win. Okay. Second place ahead of Team USA.
He can find it.
Yeah, USA are a second behind the leaders.
Levitt falling away. This is a medal for Germany.
Well, this is a medal for Canada as well. Germany move into the lead, or stay in the lead with one team to go.
But that puts Polanato's team still in second. That gives them a medal, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that edges out the US.
Well, not yet. It's Germany, Canada, USA, one team to go.
4 disciplines, 1500ths of a second.
Last time Team USA won, Samaritz 2013.
Well,
last time Team Canada won, there hasn't been a time Team Canada won.
How sore do you think Nick Polagnato is for that crash, and to come out here and do what he's done? You know, football player.
12, look at that.
Football player mentality.
Yep. Get up, get it done. Last Canadian medal was on Samaritz.
Way to go, Nick.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, final team on the ice, Team USA. And again, like Polagnato, like Hunter Church, for Jeff Gadbois, a chance of redemption. This could be, for the boy from Vermont, a real Hollywood story.
He's got 1,500 to play with. That's not a lot against...
Very little at all on this track.
Yeah, he gets to the bottom, though. Cleanly, he'll have a chance for a medal for his team.
Yeah. One of the US teams will take a medal, but which? Although, and John, it's happened a lot already this week, we could end up with a tie.
No, there's the US teams in third now. Yeah, you're right. There will be a US team.
There will be a US team on the podium, whatever happens. Germany are going to win this.
This is where he had his problems the last time down.
He's got this.
Yeah, perfect this time. 4,300's back, so this doesn't look like a medal. Looks like
Germany.
Germany.
It could be, because US Team 2 are a second behind. One of the US teams is going to take a medal, and
third.
Germany wins. Canada second.
But still Jeff Gadbois, right?
Jeff Gadbois in the bronze medal position. He and Nick Polagnato crashed out of the two-man race. They get World Championship medals as team players.
How about that action? You know, you talk about courage. You know, this guy had the most spectacular crash we've seen in the season 2 days ago.
He can see his teammates going mental.
And this is where the damage was done for him on Friday night. And 50-50 curve.
Look at the runners. He knows he's got it.
You know,
didn't flinch.
Takes a certain type of DNA to be a bobsled driver. Oh, yeah. He's got it.
Greg West, Brittany Reinbold, Jessica Davis, Savannah Graybill, Jeff Gadbois, and the lanky Chris Horn, your bronze medalists for the USA. Dave Gresh-Cheshin, Christine DeBrown, Kristen Bushnovsky, Mimi Reniva, Nick Polagnato, Kiefer Joyce, the silver medalists, and there are your winners. Christopher Grote here, Anna Kohler, Lisa Gericke, Sophia Griebel, Hansi Lochner, and Mark Rademacher for Germany. Wow. Wow. Fantastic stuff in the teams competition. All sorts of drama. Germany 2 win it. Canada silver, USA third and fourth. Wow, enormously dramatic stuff there. And for the winning German team, well, Christopher Grote here was on the silver medal team last year, so was Tina Hermann. And They move up, well, not last year, 2 years ago, move up into, well, Grothair at least moves up into the gold medal position. For Anna-Kola, Lisa Gericke, for Sophia Griebel, for Hansi Lochner, that's a second team medal, because he was in the gold medal winning team in Innsbruck. Oh, in fact, he won gold in Koenigsee as well. Christopher Rast behind him, Hansi Lochner, and here with Mark Rademacher behind him, gold again. So in fact, that's 3 World Championship golds in the teams competition in a row for Johannes Lochner. Well, that's a way to end the first weekend of the Worlds. Hard to tell which team is more excited. Well, this might be Craig West's biggest day in sliding. World Championship bronze in Team USA, and Dave Greszczeshin there as well. If this isn't his final race competition, the men's skeleton coming up, I will be surprised. And that is a great way to go out with a World Championship silver medal. And it's not just about you, it's about everybody in the team. The Germans claim victory for Sophia Griebel in the skeleton leg. It's her first gold for her. Was I mistaken? Was that Alexander Gassner there? It looked like it was. Haven't seen him yet, but then we haven't seen very many skeleton athletes. Their training starts on Monday. There was only one training session for the team's competitors. They don't get extra training sessions, by the way. If you're in a team's race, then the training session for the team gets taken out of your allocation for the normal World Championships. Well, there's a great view down. All in the valley there is Whistler Village, and then on down to Creekside, Function Junction, and then the Sea to Sky Highway that takes you all the way down one of the most dramatic roads in North America to Vancouver, the capital of British Columbia, down on the coast. And down in Whistler Village, an awful lot of skiers returning from the hills. Confirmation of our Team World Championship results here in Whistler. Germany victorious ahead of Canada, with USA 3rd and 4th. The international mixed teams in 5th and 6th. Canada 2, Russia 1, rounding out the teams. Germany pulling out before the end, as another couple of our international teams did because of crashes. Well, Ivo Ferriani, the president of the IBSF, the International Bobsleigh Skeleton Federation, presents millions of flowers to millions of happy sliders. Germany, your winners. USA, they're just going around. USA there in the bronze medal position. And for all the US sliders, I think that's a first ever World Championship medal. And for Canada, I was going to say the same, except, of course, Christina Brown and Kristen Bujnowski claimed the bronze medal in the women's competition earlier today. A bronze and a silver. Christina Brown, happy double birthday presents. Germany, Canada, the USA, your team's podium. And that's it for week 1 of the 2019 BMW IBSF Bobsleigh and Skeleton World Championships. Skeleton hits the ice this week, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday, it's 4-man as well. Join John Morgan, me, Martin Haven, and the IBSF TV crew for all the action. Until then, thanks for being with us. We'll see you next week from wonderful Whistler.